Howdy, Ags. Hey, more transfers are hitting the portal. Early signing day is upon us, and a key defensive starter commits to his return. So that and more on the AggieCentral podcast.
Going to throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown! He got.
Left center field. It could be. It is a home run.
Oh, doctor!
All right, so hey, let's get the obvious out of the way. The in-laws are horned frogs. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. Not to worry. Every chance I get, I gig them. To do that, I employ a very time-tested strategy. I just remind them of the 2001 GalleryFurniture.com Bowl. It's easy enough. That's all I got to do. Happy to have been in attendance there. Thank you, Mattress Mac. You are a Texas treasure. He's always saving you money. I'd like to do for the same for you at the moment. And if you like and subscribe right now, you will get a free ticket to the Maroon and White game this spring. What a deal. That's a fantastic deal. A lot to talk about today. Let me recharge real quick with some Sweet Eugene's. Yes, I had that flown in this morning. Fantastic coffee from College Station. More on that later. Teach you about that, but we have so much to get to. I don't have any new offensive coordinator news right now, but well, I guess except for Bobby Petrino taking a job at UNLV. So get that out of the way. No other names I've heard of right now as possible candidates. That is a impact hire though, because it's going to probably have a lot to do with what's going to happen with early signing day, continued transfers, whether or not anybody comes back. We'll see what happens. Again, I promise you I'm going to show you anything I can, all the ins and outs of whatever offensive coordinator that's going to be. I think we all have our likes. Heard of people who really want Jeff Grimes after the recent video showing you what he's got. He's probably my front runner right now too. We'll see. Not sure if that's a possibility. It's really kind of tight-lipped right now. So maybe it's going to be a surprise. Maybe the Petrino was just kind of a diversion. A lot of smoke out there about that. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a splash hire. Maybe we won't. Maybe we're struggling right now with it. And maybe our program's just not looking the way people think that it's looking, and it's not very desirable. Those are possibilities. I don't think it's the case, but something to consider. So let's roll right into the transfers because we got a few new ones. We do. Smoke Bowie hit the transfer portal. Marquise Groves, Killebrew, and Yoel Keith Brown, those are probably the most recent guys. What do you say? I think they fit the mold still in large part. The mold has been not getting much playing time, had some discipline issues, and or graduate transfer type stuff, looking to go get some playing time. All right, so Devin Price also showed up in the portal recently, Coach Price's son, and he hadn't had as much playing time maybe as he had wanted to get. He did start showing up towards the end of the season, but he probably wants to go find a place where he's going to start. I can't blame the guy. Fits the mold. What surprises do you think that you've seen have been on there? Here's what I've got so far. So take a look at this. Here's all of our transfers so far. Killebrew recently, Smoke Bowie, Yoel Keith Brown, Devin Price, Chris Marshall, Ish Harris. I count 26 so far in the transfer portal. How many of those do you think are from the 2022 class? Just take a second, It feels like to me, I would say 50%. That's the way it feels like to me. There have been some high profile names like Toon Meese and LJ Johnson. Those guys are down the list a little bit here. They went in a few weeks back, been a little while ago. They kind of knew a little bit early on. It's 5. Only 5 guys from the 2022 class so far have come in. Denver Harris being one of those. Smoke, Killebrew, let's see, Chris Marshall, and Ish Harris. Those are the 5. Those are the 5 that I counted. I don't think I missed anybody. Maybe I did. Tyrion Lee, linebacker, though. Andre White, linebacker. So we did take a few other hits, though, in key areas, even if it wasn't the 2022 class. Cornerback is another one. You see Josh Moten's gone down here. LJ Johnson was probably the biggest head scratcher for me out of all these transfers. Eli Stowers leaves us a little bit thin at QB. Toon Meese and PJ, all expected in some form or fashion once you kind of get to know the background. So, Miles Jones, cornerback, Elijah Judy, defensive line. Defensive line makes a lot of sense, right? Because we brought in a lot of guys who are high performers. Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart. We still got Shamar Turner, Labius Overton. If there's one guy that I haven't seen in here that I think might be a good candidate, although I really hope it's not, would probably be Anthony Lucas. That's the one guy I have been looking for that hasn't made it in there yet. Don't know the background fully, so maybe there's still a chance we hold on to this guy. I think it would be really great. But to see these defensive linemen go in like Donnell Harris and the others makes a lot of sense. If you're not getting the play-in time, it just doesn't look like there's a window for you to get in there. That's what's happening with Devin Price, right? I mean, you got Evan Stewart, you got Moose, Noah Thomas is emerging. Where's the playing time going to come from? I mean, there's definitely a conversation about the fourth wide receiver, which is maybe the first backup, depending on how you look at it and what formations we're running. Are we going to be doing more 2 tight ends? Or how often are we going to be running 4 wide receivers moving forward? Hopefully not much. So he's probably moving on. Same thing for Yulkeith. And there might have been some things going on off the field as well there. But Chris Marshall, off the field. Okay, if you got off the field issues, that's expected. I didn't see it happening with Johnson so much. LJ was probably the biggest head scratcher for me. Although Killebrew was kind of, who knows. Wouldn't have said no, but I wouldn't have said this guy's definitely staying. With Moss emerging, though, LJ starts to make more sense. Now we picked up Reuben Owens. We were worried about the running back position. Amari Daniels feels like a really good option to fill in for a chain. And things are looking like they're kind of coming back together. We're definitely thin at some spots. We're going to talk about that. We need to address it. Transfer portal, we need to hit hard. This class, we need to hit hard. So yeah, let me give you a quick overview of what we have coming in for early signing day so far. Ooh. We're going to take a look at also who might be other options. But look at this. What you're going to see in this class is a lot of meat and potatoes. Okay? And that's good, because I like my recruiting classes just like I like my dinner. Meat and potatoes everywhere, all over the plate, up and down. David Hicks, defensive lineman. Could you ask for a better top recruit? 5-star guy out of Katy, Texas. And then Reuben Owens. A huge need for us. So I'm not mad about the skill position being up that high. My general philosophy is I prefer for the trench guys to be the top of my class. I want them to make up the top of my class, because I don't think there's nearly as much volatility in those types of players coming into the college ranks and performing. With wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks, if the evaluation's not fantastic and you get a lot of volatility, that means that your recruiting class was propped up on their rankings. And if their rankings were here and then they started performing down here, which is much more likely in my opinion, then your class goes from on paper being here but performance being here. So I really like what I'm seeing here. Third guy on the list, Chase Basantis, offensive lineman, another need for us. Not as big as some, but 5 positions there and needing depth always. Seeing what injuries can do, all the rotations we've had there. We want to get solid guys in there. We want to have them for years to come, right? We have got to start talking about a plan, a scheme, a formula for long-term success, okay? And I'm going to use TCU for a second as we talk about this class, because right now TCU's had some of their success because they have a pretty decent pipeline that coming in, if you ask me. So we're kind of in the middle range here, right? So we're kind of edge of tier 2, trying to become tier 1. I think that they're solidly tier 2. I don't mean that as any disrespect, but maybe even lower side, at least perception wise. They're starting to move. But you got to think about the guys that they've had coming in recently, in the last 3 or 4 years. Mostly 3-star guys. Well, 3-star guys don't have nearly the aspirations for NIL that 4 and 5 stars do. When those 4 and 5 stars come in, they are looking for that deal. The 3 stars are not. So when it comes to year after year, do you think you're going to have many 3 stars hitting the portal because they want to try and leverage that for an NIL deal? Did you even think that was something that we'd be talking about in college football? Well, we're going to have to, because it's probably something that's happening. Now, with that being said, they've got seniors, would-be seniors next year, rising seniors to replace the current seniors. Thinking about that experience, that many years in their system and what they're doing, that's a really good plan. Do we have that right now? I don't think so. We got a lot of attrition going on. We have a lot of starters coming back. We have a lot of the reps coming back. But who are we going to replace them with once they leave? What's that going to look like in 2 or 3 years? We can maybe ride this train next year for a couple years. Then somebody's going to leave. 3, 4 people leave. These are 5-star guys, right? So again, they're looking to leave after 3 years because they want to get to the NFL. They want to get paid big money. TCU's not really having that kind of issue. You gotta hand it to them. I mean, they might be sitting on a gold mine with the way current things are, and they might can ride that wave gradually up. We went from like kind of middle of the road, and we really took a big jump, to be quite honest. I don't know that we were ready for that kind of big jump. Looking at all the transfers, maybe we weren't. But that's something we got to think about. Now, this class, though, you're looking at is a very high-quality class. You got Bravion Rogers, cornerback, big area of need there as well. We need to have guys rolling. As you've seen, we played so many cornerbacks this last year. Throughout on defense, we're going to need to stockpile those. Dalton Brooks, probably a running back. That's what he's playing right now. Javen Thomas, the same. I'm sorry, not running back, but cornerback. But Dalton Brooks could also squeeze over on defense if needed, or Dalton Brooks could be a slot guy, something like that. We'll see, but you see the quality throughout. TJ Shanahan, inside offensive lineman, 6'4", 310. Great pickup. I really like what we've got him, and then Colton right beneath him. These are guys that can solidify a nice line for continued years. We've got quite a few there that are still left, and I'll mention those in a minute. We just got to make sure we start addressing needs. Okay? So we got to make sure we get that pipeline stocked so we can have guys fill. If we don't, we're going to be performing up here 1 year and right back down here next year as we try and reload, and we're not quite able to do that. You can't go from 4 years of experience back down to like 2 years of experience and expect to have really consistent success. So I really like what we got out right here in Damian Sanford as well. I know we missed on Anthony Hill, and for all that's worth and all those kinds of things, we can get mad about that 5-star. Leon, he said as much, but he took notice of the way this guy's been playing in the playoffs right now in high school Texas football. And this guy can play. So watch for his count to move up. in the future. And then you got a lot of quality guys right here on the tail end of this. Ryland Kennedy, probably something else, a bit more on the linebacker side of things. Samu, say what you will about this guy, but I mean, this guy moves like Rakes does, to be honest. That's who he reminds me of. And that's a really quality guy who's played some really meaningful minutes for us. As a three-star guy that, you know, wasn't highly rated, but he's filled some holes and done quite well. Bertrand, offensive tackle, meat and potatoes throughout all the way down. It has to be mentioned though, what you don't see. You do not see quarterback on here, and you do not see wide receiver. And I mentioned all the wide receiver departures. Quarterback, we have Eli Stowers, who's transferred out. Haynes transferred out. What's left? Connor, Max, and Boast. All right, so that means we have to get something. Let's take a look at the prospects. Maybe we can perform a coup. That would be fantastic. Now, you got these two guys that have been on campus, Malachi Nelson and Zachariah Branch. All right, so they're committed to SC. SC had quite the season. Probably going to be pretty hard to lure them away. But if we can, wow, that would be amazing. I don't think that they're on campus right now. Maybe we'll find out that they are. But they went, at least one of them, to the pool party. Ruben Owens is working hard. He might be able to lure a couple of them away, one away. Depends on who on here we can think about actually flipping. Peyton Bowen could be another. Definitely use a safety. We got to replace Damani. But probably the most likely one on here, if I was taking a guess on here, probably Tony Mitchell. He's been back and forth to campus, part of the pool party, committed to Alabama, and he's on campus. So this is one we've been able to get on, and Ruben Owens is working on him. It would have been really nice to have Ruben in this class a long time ago to really start working on this, but we'll take what we can get. And right now, if we could get 3 or 4 more guys to commit to this class and get somewhere in the area of 18, I think we got a pretty good shot of putting together a really nice class. It's already nice. It's just that there's not very many. We got a lot of holes to fill, and we only got about 12 guys, 13 guys in that class. We need at least 18, maybe closer to 20, especially with everybody that's left. So, can we get Tony Mitchell? Time will tell. Early signing day is on Wednesday. It feels like we're probably going to end up doing a little bit better than anticipated, but it doesn't mean it's going to play out in the rankings. I think if I'm going to take a guess here, I think we're going to end up somewhere in the 12 range. If we get lucky, I think it'd get top 10. Now, if you look at average recruit ranking, we're probably in the top 5. But as we add more players, there's not a whole lot of high quality rankings left, so it's going to push that number down. So it'll be hard to kind of really get into something like a top 5, even if we were to add like say 5 or 6, 7, 8 guys. It's just not going to quite happen. You're going to be adding probably high-end 3-star, low-end 4 stars, unless we can make some flips. Flips are going to be difficult, especially I think by early signing day. Maybe by national signing day, but that's a ways off. So we'll see what can possibly take place. I'd really like to have this coup though. Malachi Nelson and Zachariah Branch, that would that would fill 2 huge needs that we need that we have right now. Because if we can't get these 2, which is unlikely, then we really got to hit the portal. Got to hit the portal hard. So what could we do in the portal? There are a few guys that I think we can think about. We need, and here's the areas. We need cornerback, we need linebacker, QB, and we could probably definitely use wide receiver. Those are, if I had to put those in order, I'd go linebacker, then I would go wide receiver, probably quarterback, and then cornerback. Those would be mine in a row. What do you think? Where would you put those? I mean, we've got Connor and we've got Max. So do we need a third? Man, I feel like we do. So I feel like that's why it's probably higher than cornerback for me. But Linebacker, we're so thin there. And wide receiver, there's been so many departures as well. Outside of the starting 3 or 4, it's a little bit thin. Okay? A little bit thin. What we could possibly do is get Tony Grimes from UNC. Guy that loved us, I think, back in 2020, 2021, somewhere around that class, 5-star guy, went over to UNC. You know, Mac Brown had a lot of splash that year. Probably was going to be an A&M lean for a long time, and then became a Tar Heel. All right, it's not working out. Hit the portal. Time for us to make use of the portal, don't you think? Everybody else has been doing it. We should too. And then probably there's a guy out of Okie Light that we really need to try and work on. Mason Cobb, linebacker, 6'2"-ish kind of guy, 220, 225, almost like an Edgerrin Cooper type. We could really use that guy. You guys have been asking for a position coach analysis, and I want to continue to wait on that because I think how this all shakes out for me would be, for instance, a way that I would go about trying to evaluate Santucci, linebackers coach. If this is a guy that can't go out and address these issues, we need to move on. Do you agree? We have Cooper playing around with the transfer portal. We have Andre White in the transfer portal. Ish White is there. We've got some that are in the transfer portal from other schools, and are we bringing these guys in? We missed on Anthony Hill. We missed on Harold Perkins last year. I'm gonna need to have some results here, and quite frankly, the play on the field in this area didn't do it for me either. So I want to hold off on that till we get to that part, so I can give a whole full evaluation. I think you would agree that's probably a big part of it. So now, maybe we get Mason Cobb, maybe we get Tony Grimes. Those would fill big needs. I don't have anything on the on the forefront for QB or wide receiver at this moment. Not sure where we're looking to go with these guys, but it would be nice if we could make at least 1 or 2 splashes. Something in the, you know, for a third string quarterback, we've been having to go through that for the last 2 years. We're going to need it. It's going to be difficult because Connor's solidified himself, I think, as a starter. And from there, who do you bring in? You don't bring in somebody that's looking for playing time because he's got, 3 years of eligibility left, so they're not going to be getting in for a while. It's probably a place that we really need to address in this recruiting class. So how we finish out there will be important. We could be all right if I think we're going to hold on to Max. We could be all right, but if things go the way they're going, I mean, what are we going to do if we get multiple guys hurt again? The name of the game in 2023 for Aggie football is going to be stay healthy. We have to stay healthy. So for all the talk of all these transfers and everybody that's going in and moving around and this and that, can we stop and talk about for just a moment, at least in name, and talk about all the guys that are staying? Because I want to flip the mindset here, because this BAS, Bad Aggie Syndrome, with all these transfers, needs to have a little bit of a pause on it, because we got a lot of guys coming back that are very nice quality. Okay, let me go through them on defense first. Bryce Anderson, Chappelle, Deuce Harmon, Gilbert, Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, Walter Nolan, Anai White, McKinley Jackson, Diggs, Regis, Rakes, Bobby Taylor, Jared Kerr, Overton, Dindy, Silla, Martrell Harris. That's quite a few guys. I didn't even name them all. There's possibly Russell. Russell could be back as well. I looked at his Letterman status. I had to go off of Max Wright's to kind of make any sense of it, but Max Wright's listed as a 4-year Letterman as of this year. For instance, example, Father is listed as a 1-year letterman, so that means his year last year in 2021, his first year playing, which he did, burned a letterman year. Believe he burned his second one this year, so he'd already been through one. Max has been through 4, so Max was on his 5th. Well, Russell only lists as, I believe, a 4-year letterman. So through the COVID year, I believe he's getting 5. So he could be coming back, and that would really help address an area. Like to have that experience back. Can we get Andre White back? Santucci, let me know. I don't know if we can get Ish back. I don't know what these guys in the portal really want to do. If they're in, they're, my opinion, probably likely to not be returners that contribute in really meaningful ways. Love to have Andre White back, though. However, so offensive side of things, Foster, Fothery, Robinson, Dewberry, Zune, Wyckoff, Jake Johnson, Dono, Le'Veon Moss, Daniels, Evan Stewart, Moose, Noah Thomas, Aki, Herb, Moko, Naboo, and Wiegman, who we've mentioned. You got a lot of experience returning, a lot of starters returning. Even more so, I think, than last year. We felt like we had quite a bit. It was like 60, 61% returned last year. I think this year it's 75, 80% if things continue out this way. That's a good spot to be in. But if anybody gets injured, we could really start having some issues again. And we have quite a bit of depth at offensive line, but even the injuries there still plagued us. Still too many guys getting moved around. So if we go down, say Evan Stewart goes down at wide receiver, we got Moose and Noah left. What else are we going to be doing there? I think Preston's out. So name of the game is health. Stay healthy. I don't see it any other way, and I think our scheme is going to have to mirror what we need to do with that. A lot of things to think about, but the potential, again, is there. We saw what all of these guys essentially can do. We have in the LSU game, and we have guys that can replace people that are leaving. Bryce Anderson can replace Damani Richardson. Gilbert can replace Antonio Johnson. Jalen Jones is somebody we're going to have to replace. Bobby Taylor. We got Chappelle on the other side. We've got guys that can do it. Deuce Harmon's coming back. He's also somebody that can replace Jalen Jones. I think we have the guys to do it. But there's always a big but, right? And health's going to be, I think, the big but for us. We're going to have to stay healthy. So, a lot going on, a lot to consider. Key returner, and you may have known this, but Edrin Cooper was playing around with the transfer portal. And this is something in the NIL era that is going to have to be a conversational piece. We talked about it. There's guys leveraging it. I can't fault the guy for doing that. Guys came in last year, got NIL deals. He was before that. What's his deal look like? He wants a deal too, wouldn't you? Heck yeah, I want a deal. Well, so as they're talking about all this and whether or not he's going to come back, probably played the portal card a little bit. And I think it probably worked out. I think he still had every want and intention to remain an Aggie, but he solidified that yesterday or, 2 days ago, something like that. But huge, huge, huge recommitment. We said it again. New things, recommitment. It's the new face of college football, y'all. Recommitment. So thankful to have this guy. Not sure if we're going to have anything else like this play out, but we needed him. We needed him bad. So he's going to fill a need. Santucci's got to go out and fill quite a few other needs. And this really just brings me to my Aggie Christmas wish list for this year. What's yours? Here's mine. Jeff Grimes is OC. I think we all came to the conclusion that out of the candidates that were out there and being speculated, this was the guy that we might most want. A lot of people are very high on Riley. There's rumor out there that he's not going to be able to be lured away. Hartline didn't quite look the part. But to me, Jeff Grimes looked like a really solid fit for what we need to do. Also thinking about his style of play, and if we're looking to play healthy, we've got to play closer to the ball and not play so violent a style of ball and off so far. I just think that would really benefit us. So that's my first. My second wish is a top 10 class. See if we can pull that one off. I'm not sure. We won't know it officially until February. Third, any linebacker will do. I prefer a nice one, but at this point, we need as many as we can get. Fourth, Freebirds gift card. I'll take a Freebirds gift card and take down a monster any day of the week. Last, I really, really want an Aggieland Outfitters shopping spree. Those 5 things would really set me up this holiday season. So, how about you? You looking for anything else out of this Aggie holiday season? Let me know. I think it's fun to talk about. And yeah, where's this class going to end? What's the who else is going to transfer? Who else can we lure back? I'll have all that as soon as it happens and more on the OC as well. As soon as it happens, you'll know, I'll know, and we're going to look at it again through and through. Hopefully we get a good one. So for now, that's what I got for you. As always, thanks and gig 'em.